Namaste. In this video, I am going to give you an advanced level understanding of Jyotish, where you're going to use Prashna. There are two parts. One is the Jatakam and another is Prashna. Here, we are going to learn Jyotish from the viewpoint of Prashna only. Prashna is nothing but Prashna means question. So when a person asks the question, then we cast the chart using that particular time and place and date, and then the chart is being cast. It is same as the Jatakam, which is basically the natal chart of a person. The difference is that it is not related to the birth time, it is related to the time of the question. To understand this video, as I have told you in the previous video also, that you have to understand Rashi, which is basically the sign, and their characteristics. This is important because without this you will not be able to understand. You have to learn about house or the bhava, their significance also, planets of course, and their effects, because this is a primary thing. And you also have to learn about nakshatras and constellation. See, the first book of Jyotish that I bought was when I was in class 7. That was way back in 1991, and presently it is 22. So you can understand that I have spent 31 years of my life just to learn this science. And I worked for Parashara Light for 12 years and I had wrote around thousands of charts. So I have a hands-on experience in this matter. Even if I tell you everything, it will be difficult to understand unless you have a very sharp memory, you have a divine grace, and you remember everything that I tell you. See, there are books for these like Light on Astrology by Hard Defo, and there's another book, Astrology Without Tears, from Sri K.N. Rao. These are primary books, and if you want to learn it from Granthas, you can buy Mantreshwar's Faladipika or Parashar Hora Shastra, which is called the Bible in Astrology. So these books will help you to understand Rashi and their characteristics. And remember that you have to learn them. You have to memorize them. Otherwise, because what happens is when the person will arrive to ask you for consultancy, he will give you only 5 to 10 minutes to understand that chart. If you're not quick, you're not smart, you will not be able to understand anything. So these points needs to be understood before we venture into any field of astrology, whether it is Prashna, whether it is Jatakam, it hardly matters. Okay, now the Prashna process is a little bit different because it is considered a divine process and it requires certain divinity in the person. If you have a deity whom you pray to, you are praying daily to him, or you have a devotion towards a certain deity, then it will be easier for you. Otherwise, Prashna will not work. Okay, there are few other rules which are important in Prashna. Prashna is basically dependent on the questioner, plus it is dependent on the astrologer as well. So it's a two-way process. So if the questioner is not asking the question with a genuine effort, or his question is not persistent, or he is not asking it with respect, then the prashna will not yield any answer to the person. This you have to understand, that a confused mind, totally confused mind, or a dual-headed person, or a person who is mocking your shastras, the knowledge of shastra, or who's going to test you, will not be able to get any answer from you. See, the Jyotish, it has been recommended that the person who is testing you for Jyotish should not be given any kind of answer. Jyotish is totally against that person. In the Prashna, it is important that question should be asked after taking a bath and after worshipping the Kula Devata and the Ishta Devata. This is also important. This is because it is a divine process. Unless you are pure in your body, or in all the koshas of your body are pure, you will not be able to ask the question, and as astrologer also will not be able to answer the questions. So it is important that both ways, the astrologer and the person seeking the question should be clear, should have worshipped the Kul Devta and the Ishta Devta. Then he should sit for answering the question, and then only the seeker will ask the question. Whether he is asking you from another country, it does not matter, because at that point of time he should be clean. Third is that a faithless person who does not have a faith in Jyotish will not get any results in Prashna. See, Prashna is a different kind of a process, not Jatkam that you take up a chart and answer the question. No, it will not work like that. So there is a certain requisite for this thing. People don't understand it. Those who don't understand it will not get the answer from you. So the person, the Jyotish who is practicing this, should understand this process. Now we move on to a real life chart, and I am going to explain how Nadi can be used to answer a Prashna. The present Nadi which we are using is called the Kashyapa Hora Nadi, and this Prashna is an actual Prashna which I have used earlier for one of the person. Okay. So you see here, if you see the board, the date the question was asked on was 5th of August 2015. The time was 13:30 hours, that is 1:30 p.m. and the place is my place. Okay. No matter where the person is asking the question, you should cast the prashna with your place only. Okay. Now, but this person came to my office, so I have seen the person. She was a female and she was between 20 to 30 years of age, approximately 22 to 28 years of age, and she was not married. See, when a person arrives, you should pay attention to what the person is wearing, what kind of condition, mental condition the person has, what is his avastha. That is very important, because through that you are able to ascertain the prashna. There are certain omens also which you should watch while the person arrives. These omens are explained in several of the books. You should study those omens because they are used in prashna, and even jatakam also you should understand that omens are very important. Okay. If you ask me what kind of omen, so I give you example. A person was asking about his mother, and she was very ill, and at the very moment when she was asking the question, I heard an ambulance going somewhere. So obviously I had the intuition that this person she is asking about might suffer from some kind of problem, and the ambulance will come down to her house, and the same thing happened also. So omens are very important when the prashna is being asked. Okay. This lady, when she arrived at my house or the consultation place, she was having a pit of condition, so obviously I understood that there is some problem. Now in this prashna, we are using the Hora law. You, to calculate this prashna, you should use a free software like Jagannath Hora using this date and time and place, or you can use the applet which I mentioned in the previous video. Okay. Now there is something called Hora Lord. This is very important in Kashyap Nadi. Hora Lord is basically the lord of the hour, and if you have seen the applet, a Hora Lord will be mentioned. There is a Hora table which mentions every hour. So Hora Lord at that point of time is the Lord when the question is being asked, the slot when the question is being asked. So suppose from 12:30 to 13:35, the Hora Lord is Mercury. So the Hora Lord will be that planet. Okay. The day was Wednesday. Now this is very important on because Wednesday is, it's a day which is being ruled by Mercury only. Okay. So we have Hora Lord as Mercury. We have Wednesday, the Lord is Mercury. So Mercury becomes a primary planet in the question. It is placed in Leo over here. The second planet which is more important is Venus. Why? Because it's the lord of the Lagna. I told you earlier also that this is called Lagna or ascendant. This is a natural rising sign in the eastern horizon. And the third important planet is Moon. Okay, this planet. Why? Because Moon represents the mind of a person. So we have three places from where we are going to look into the chart. Kashyap Nadi has other rules also, like directions and all, which we will discuss while we discuss this chart. So first thing which is very important over here is to understand that the day was Wednesday, the planet was Mercury, Hora Lord was Mercury. So obviously Mercury becomes very important. Now if you look carefully, you'll see that Mercury at this point of time is at 1 degree 28 minutes. Okay, it's very young actually. Young means it has just entered this sign, so it's pretty young. It is at 1.28 degree, and Sun is at 1831. It is in Nadi, it is important which planet is sitting in front. This is front because Venus is 420, which means it is in front of Mercury, and obviously Sun is sitting in a backward sign in Cancer, so it means it is behind Mercury. Okay, so there are two planets. Then you have Jupiter in line, then you have Rahu, then you have Saturn, Ketu, Moon, etc., etc. So this is very important in Nadi, that which planet is sitting in the back and which planet is sitting in the front. Now I will tell you how we ascertain what this lady was going to ask me. So in this case, as you can make out, she was a short-haired female, and she came from Andhra Pradesh, and she was doing something in Jaipur which I was not aware of at that point of time. But here I am going to explain how I understood what she was going to ask. So Mercury is in Sheshavavastha, which means it is in a primary stage because it is at 1 degree 28 minutes. It's very young, and it is hemmed between two ever-glowing Surya and enemy Venus, and it is combust as well. Combustion is a particular condition of a planet. When you study astrology, you will come to know about it. Okay, so it is combust over here. If you pay attention, you will see that Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter, all of them are placed in Magha Nakshatra. If you pay attention, you'll see that all of them are placed in this nakshatra, which is called Magham. Okay, now this nakshatra has a certain characteristics, and when all planets are there, it means it has some value. Okay, in Jyotish, it is important which planet is valuable. You should be able to calculate which planet is problematic or important over here. Here, Magha was there in Leo. All the three planets are in Magham. It's a Gandamula nakshatra, and the deity are Pitrus. Okay, and if you happen to know the Navamansha of this, Mercury is afflicted by Mars and Saturn. It is sitting in the direction east. This direction is in Jyotish. This direction is basically ruled by east. Okay, so Mercury is afflicted over here. Why? Because in Navamansha, Mars and Saturn are sitting in the same direction. So it means that lady is perturbed in some way because Mars and Saturn are malefic. If you pay attention to the condition of moon over here, it will give you the same thing. Why? Because moon is combined to Ketu. Now Ketu is a planet of tensions and moon is a planet of mind. Okay. So this is important because it gives us the clue about the mind of a person, right? So here, if you pay attention, moon was at 25 degree 34 minutes in Revati nakshatra. Now Revati is a Gandanta nakshatra and Ketu is over there. This is a watery sign, which means there are a lot of emotions in her mind going at that point of time. Usually this also means that the person was thinking about suicide at the moment. You'll be surprised that I came to this conclusion very quickly after looking at her and after paying attention to moon and Mercury. Okay. How I came to conclusion? Because the condition was not good. In the Prashna, the condition is not good, the person is not in a very fine condition in her mind. Okay, this you should understand. Okay, now I asked her that, of course, you are in some kind of problem or are you preparing for some kind of exams? This is the first question which I asked her. She told me that she has been sent by her parents here forcibly, and her parents were not rich, and she is disturbed because she was pursuing the MTech qualification in a college, and she told me that she is very perturbed because parents are not rich and they have spent a lot of money in sending her here, and she was not able to cope up with the studies. She didn't want to do it actually. So I told her that you should not worry because you are not fit for logical and clear reasoning. You should not take any decision before 23rd of this month. Why? Because on 23rd, Mercury was going to change position and going to reach this sign. And this sign is very important. If you have studied basic Jyotish, this is the exaltation sign of Mercury. So her mind will come out of all these troubles very soon. Mercury is a fast planet. So you should understand that this condition is not permanent. It is temporary. Whatever is happening to her is a temporary condition. So you should be careful when you analyze these things that Mercury is not going to stay here for too long. Okay. Now, the second question she asked me whether she should go back to Andhra or not, or her hometown or not. Now, I told her that you can't go back. Why I was so clear in this matter? Because Mercury is retrograde over here. Now, this is, you will not learn it in any book. You should understand that a planet which is retrograde means it is in a backward motion. So the person cannot go forward. If she goes back to her town, she will have to come back because the planet is retrograde. So I told her, don't worry, it is possible that you go back to your town, but it will not help you out. She again asked me, what happens if I go back? Will it affect the health of my father? Why did she ask about the health of father? This is very important. If we consider Mercury in Cancer, like you have to place virtually or mentally you place Mercury in a backward sign. What happened previously? To know that, we have to place Mercury over here in this part. Okay. What is here? Here is Sun. Sun, what is combined with Sun? Mars. Now Mars is a planet which is debilitated in Karkada. So this is not good. Why? Because Mars is debilitated. The Kark is chest or heart of the person. Sun is father. If you understand Jyotish, you will understand this part. Okay. So it means that her father might have been affected by some kind of surgery in the past. That is why she asked whether it will affect the health of her father. And if moon in Trikona with Ketu also indicated surgery of her mother in past. So I told her that it's not a good idea. You should not go back because according to me Mercury was retrograde and the conditions were not previously, they were not good. Then she told me that my father suffered a heart attack, which we already know. And she also told that his mother has undergone surgery, which I already knew because you can see it in the chart itself. Now there is one more thing which I wanted to tell you here. Venus is also retrograde over here. It's also retro. Okay. Usually we see this cross sign. This means the planet is retrograde. That means Venus is going in a backward direction. Okay. So the lady, I asked her whether there is some auspicious activity going on in your family. Or Venus also represents the elder sister. Oh, she told me that according to me, actually Venus was retrograde. So it means somebody from her family, probably her sister, if she has a sister, she will come to her because Venus was going in a backward direction. Somebody is going to come from her family to meet her. And there was some auspicious activity going on in her family. So I asked her, is she busy somewhere or is somebody, do you have an elder sister or is she going to come to you in few months? She said, yes, my elder sister is getting married. So we have a ceremony in the house and she is going to come to meet me before that. She asked me whether she will come to help me. So I told her, yes, she will come to help you because Venus was retrograde. That means she was going to come back and help her with the thing. Okay. So I asked her last, which was very, very clear that she was depressed. So I asked her, you're thinking about suicide. And it is important, you should understand that you should not do this. It is not going to help you out. She told me, yes, I was thinking about it and I'm really sorry. What should I do about it? Then you should understand the process of remedies. Now, remedies is a very large subject in itself. You have to understand the mantras, the yantra, the tantra, the planets and everything you have to understand clearly to understand what has to be done in this case. Here, Mercury was in a bad condition, so was Moon. So I told her to go to Mahaganapati temple, offer him this Durva grass and offer water to Shivalingam on daily basis because Moon was afflicted. So these conditions are related to the planets at the moment. So this is how we work in the Prashna. This is a very small example. I'm just giving you a very basic example how we use Prashna in Jyotish. Prashna, the most important part is which planet is important, and you should pay attention to that. If you cannot ascertain by any chance, if you cannot ascertain the planet which is important, it means you are not spiritual in any sense, and you will not be able to exercise the process of Prashna. Okay, so thank you all of you for watching this video. Have a nice day.